about the charity that you set up, Malawi Dream?
Well, Malawi Dream is a kitchen table charity. It's run single-handedly by myself. It's a non-profit organisation, and there are absolutely no administration costs. Every penny raised goes to the people of Likoma. Likoma is an island on Lake Malawi. There's a population of about 10,000 people, and the real backbone of the charity is health, education and sanitation, and every penny raised goes to the people.
So how have you got people to know about Malawi Dream?
Well, we've been very, very lucky in the coverage that we've received. In November 2006, the Daily Express did a fabulous two-page article telling everybody about the work of Malawi Dream. This week, in April 2007, there was a follow-up by Peter Hill, the editor, as a thank you to everybody who very kindly donated nearly £20,000 for the water pump. We've got a TV programme going out on this morning, ITV1, about the work in Malawi, a 10-minute slot. That's going out, that's April. In May, we've got the Resident magazine, a local magazine in London. In June, we've got Reader's Digest doing a local hero article, which is one page. And in July, we have Woman and Home. And there will be further follow-ups in the Daily Express and into the International Daily Express in the future.
So can you explain to me a little about how Likoma sits within Malawi?
Likoma is a very small island. It's about 12 miles by 5 and it's situated on Lake Malawi. Lake Malawi is the third largest freshwater lake in the world. It's called a calendar lake because it's 365 miles by 52, so it's huge with this very small island. The population is around 10,000 and there are 12 villages. So the village population, Mabango, is about 320 and the largest village population is about 800.
Is there another form of disease that affects Likoma?
Yes, the main problems are HIV, TB, but malaria. Malaria is a killer. And if every person on the island, i.e. 10,000 nets, were purchased, put up properly, with education, and the most important thing, internal spraying, in April and November, WHO have told us that we could probably, for the first time ever in Africa, eradicate malaria. We will definitely reduce it by at least 85%, but there's a huge chance we could eradicate it, and it would revolutionise the lives of the people. This is a net that costs £1.50, the equivalent of a cup of coffee. So if anybody would like to view us, please look at the website, which is www.malawidream.com, and there you can see what our next projects are going to be, which is very exciting.
So you started with the school, and what else has happened at Malawi Dream?
Well, I feel very strongly that it's terribly important that the community identify the schemes, and basically I just facilitate raising the money for the schemes, because if there isn't ownership from the sort of grassroots level, then the schemes, the projects will fall apart. So the PTA have been very important part of the charity. They identified the fact that the children didn't have a school uniform. They were going to school in very, very tattered clothes. So they decided the material, the colours, it's bright, bright green and yellow. You can see the children from miles away walking across the sand going to school. They also brought to my attention the fact that the children were not having enough food. In 2006 there was a drought. They were going to school and they weren't having breakfast, and they were only having one meal a day, which was in the evening. And as we all know, to be able to try and go to school and to be able to retain knowledge and you're actually hungry is very difficult. So we employed a cook and we trained her with the hygiene aspects, and the children have now for over a year had a bowl of maize and a cup of tea every morning during the break period. The school has been revolutionised with regard to visual equipment. There are now lots of nice charts, there are textbooks, there are pens, there are pencils, and just a general increase which has helped the children. Also, there are, when I started in the village in 2005, there were 39 HIV orphans. They are now over 60, and 41 of some of them are HIV orphans, some are not. Just do not have an infant's education. The Malawian government provides primary, you have to pay for secondary, but infants under the age of 5 there's no provision. So we're actually building a little infant school, the first of its type on the island, and these children will have an education from 3.5 to 5 before going to the primary school. The school is being built with a toilet block and a kitchen, and in 2008 St Edward's School in Oxford will come out and build a playground. That will be the first playground for the whole village on the island. So also what we've done is they identified the fact that they thought that if they had some goats, that would be quite a good idea. The goat milk could then go to feed the HIV orphans, and the dung could be collected to go to as fertiliser, because we've also built another vegetable patch, and we've had some great successes with maize and kale and tomatoes. We've had a few disasters as well, and it's been a very steep learning curve. Fertiliser is very expensive, and the villagers have to take the water from the lake, so they've got to get a rota system to actually be able to tend the vegetable patch. So all the labour is put in by the community free of charge. That is their contribution, having myself raised the money for the schemes. And I'm very pleased to say that the schemes are very successful because, as I mentioned earlier, that there is ownership because it comes from the community.
So what's the next project that you want to do with Malawi Dream?
Well, on the island there is one hospital, and it's run by a Kenyan doctor who works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with 3 weeks holiday a year, and he does absolutely amazing things. And last month when I was there and did a ward round with him, I was just absolutely awestruck by what he's achieving. However, he has no washing machine, so the theatre garbs have to be sterilised. He's got no paediatric laryngoscope. Intubation tubes are sterilised and reused. He's got no cardiac electrodes for an ECG machine, so he improvises beautifully by putting Sonia jelly, electrodes straight on, and then using zinc oxide tape. The incubators don't work, there are 2. The temperature gauges have gone, so the babies would be cooked if they were put in the incubators. The speedboat, which is the only way of getting any emergency patients off the island onto Mazuzu, which is the mainland, has broken down. So either you have to wait for the ferry to come in twice a week, or for a flight, which can come in, except they can't fly at night. They are very restricted. So there's a huge amount of things to be done at the hospital. There's no kitchen, so food has to be provided by relatives.
So how did all of this start?
Well, previously, for the last 15 years, up until 2005, on a very informal basis, family and friends had been supporting a school in Gambia. And we'd finally got the first pupils through higher education, teaching and accountancy, and they've all gone back to Gambia. And the priest in charge, when I told him that when I'd gone to Malawi in 2005 and seen the same situation as I'd seen 15 years ago in Gambia, for instance, in Mabongo village on the island of Likoma, Joseph, the headmaster, had 56 pupils, and he had 2 textbooks to share between 56, and that was the situation we'd had previously in the Gambia, and we'd supplied the library, pens and pencils. And so with Father Sharp's blessing, he suggested I actually start it all over again. And so Joseph in Mabongo was trying to teach geography without an atlas. He had about 2 or 3 pens, very few textbooks. So the charity really became very formalised in November. And the 3 tenets of the charity are health, education and sanitation. And after the Express ran a story, Peter Hill, the editor, very kindly did a 2-page article in November stating the fact that there was no running water in the village, though they are on a freshwater lake, and this would revolutionise the people's lives.
So how can people help?
Well, if you visit the website www.malawidream.com, you'll be able to see all the information that I've been talking about on the website. We also do PayPal, we accept credit cards. On the website you'll find our address where you can send cheques care of, made payable to Malawi Dream. So please visit the website and find out more about Malawi Dream, www.malawidream.com.